What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Captain Paul from the Talking Shit Podcast. Like and appreciate if you could like this video, comment, and subscribe. It would greatly help us in the algorithm. So let's get right into it. Jake DeBrusk has been on fire. Absolute heat. He has not stopped producing since he's been put on that top line with Bergeron and Marchand. He has been what I feel like he should be doing all the time, right? He has been hustling. He's been fighting in the corners for pucks. He's been, really kind of showing a lot of effort, and he's been burying the puck, He's been, getting high opportunities, getting redirects, and even just some kind of little bit of puck luck his way. It's been going in the net. So past 8 games, 8 goals for Jake DeBrusk. And there's actually something kind of interesting going on with this, is that if you think about it, Jake DeBrusk asked for a trade out of Boston. And, I'm in this great Boston Bruins group on Facebook, and I kind of want to bring it to a different platform, put my thoughts in video form, and kind of essentially talk about the discussion that's being had, like, should we keep Jake DeBrusk or not? Right? Jake is producing at a high clip. He's playing very well on that top line. That allows us to have more depth with Hall and Pasta on the second line. It just seems like the depth scoring is now starting to finally click. Do you mess with what is currently being extremely successful, or do you trade Jake DeBrusk now because he's going to be a restricted free agent in the offseason, and you want to try to get as much value as you can? Because, listen, you're not going to get more from Jake DeBrusk than right now. Some teams are definitely leery due to his RFA status, but look at his production right now. It's very hard to argue. He's, going to be on a, 20-goal pace this season. I believe he has 15 as of right now. I couldn't, correct me if I'm wrong. And he's just, he's produced pretty well. A lot of his points have come in this hot streak since he's been with the top line. So you could maximize your value for Jake DeBrusk. Because before, earlier in the season, you weren't going to get anything. You get like a bag of pucks. Because Jake DeBrusk just was kind of just coasting at times in games, I'm torn on this issue. Because on one side, I can see the standpoint that, you don't mess with what's working, right? Jake DeBrusk with Bergeron and Marchand's working, gives us more depth. It allows us to kind of build more chemistry. That being said, let's just get out with it. Jake DeBrusk still wants to be moved from Boston. He doesn't want to remain a Boston Bruin because he feels like he was buried on lower talented lines, on the third line, even the fourth line at times, as his career as a Bruin. Cassidy, he's been in Cassidy's doghouse for, quite a while, and he's getting tired of it. He wants to flourish. And justifiably, he probably feels a little bit vindicated with the amount of success he has had on this top line. This is my argument to why I'll just come out and say it. I think we should trade Jake DeBrusk. Because we're not going to ever see the return on value more than ever right now. Jake DeBrusk is a nice hockey player when he tries. And the key word is when he tries. When he's incentivized to actually score and he's actually incentivized to play the game he's paid for, he's great. But there's been a lot of times where I see Jake DeBrusk play and it's like lack of effort earlier in the season. I wish he was playing like this from the fucking rip. I would love to see that one of those 3 draft picks that essentially have been swings and misses, right? I would have loved to see them be successful, but unfortunately, whether it be from lack of effort or maybe just, lack of talent, we haven't seen that success from those 3 draft picks. We could have gotten Barzal. There's so many good players we could have got. Connor from the Winnipeg Jets. There was so much talent. And Shenchkin, I think, is just going to be a career AHLer. DeBrusk, he's looked, okay. And, I hate to say it, I actually even forget the third guy. Oh, that's Zorbel. He was doing well for a bit until he kind of got dinged up. But they were going to be nowhere near the talent that we thought they'd be. Like, Zorbel to me is going to be like a guy that's a 5th, 6th pairing defenseman. Like, Solid, he's a big body, which I'd like the Bruins to get more of, or bigger defensemen, but, you know, he's never going to be, in my opinion, an all-star. So where does it come down to here? And for me, it's kind of the proof is in the pudding. Jake DeBrusk is good when he tries, but he doesn't try enough. The only reason right now that I feel like he's on this scoring clip, besides being on the top line, he's incentivized. He's an RFA. He wants to, you know, see that money. He wants a team to, you know, buy into him for the future. So why wouldn't he try right now? And I'm going to get into another statement. People might think I'm a little crazy for this, but I think some people see where I'm coming from. Who doesn't produce on that Bergeron-Marchand line? Like, honestly. You know, Bergeron and Marchand are like some of the best players in the world. Bergeron is getting older, I get that, but he's still one of the best two-way centers in the league. And Marchand is just, when he's not up to his, you know, stupid antics, is one of the most talented players in the league by far. Just his scoring ability, his hands, his passing. He's so creative with the puck. His agility. He's an amazing player. Like, you could put pretty much, I'm not going to say anyone, but you could put even like kind of an okay second liner on that line, and they'll produce. Is it to the same clip as with Pastrnak? No, but when you put Pastrnak down the line with Taylor Hall, who I think's had a pretty underrated season, he's played really well, good playmaking ability, your scoring depth increases. So what I think Jake DeBrusk is just purely a nice complementary piece. Because when you put Jake DeBrusk down on a second line, not much. Really not much. Like, for everyone that's saying, oh, look, see what you do when you put Jake DeBrusk with talent. Oh, my God, look what happens. I wasn't the biggest David Krejci fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I could even recognize he was a solid second-line center. Jake DeBrusk just couldn't figure it out with David Krejci. Maybe it was just play styles weren't compatible, because Krejci did like to slow it down at time. But, you know, when you got Taylor Hall, that's when you saw that line take off. And it kind of proves, let's just say, that's when you saw the David Krejci line take off, is when Taylor Hall came to the Bruins. Because I think that proves my point that Jake DeBrusk is just purely a nice complementary piece. I'm not saying that disparagingly in the regards that, like, I don't think he's worth anything at all, but do I think he's worth, you know, paying $4-5 million for? No, I don't. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's worth that contract. I think, you know, what the Bruins need to do is start drafting better so we can have, you know, guys take those roles in the second line, like have, like, you know, mixture of veterans and youth, so you can kind of, you know, work the cap a little bit easier. But it's a different discussion. But, you know, Jake DeBrusk is a complimentary piece, and you have interest. You have some interest. Some teams are leery because of the RFA status, but, you know, some teams are interested, and he is scoring on such a hot streak, and he's not going to resign in Boston. He doesn't want to be here. He's upset with how management treated him. So I don't understand why there's fans that are just like, oh, we got to get him, we got to keep him, we got to keep him for the run. The only reason you keep Jake DeBrusk is that you can somehow, some way trade for another, you know, defenseman to pair with McAvoy, or a second line center, and not have him included in the deal. Maybe trade like Stanika or Sheshkin, or, you know, trade some prospects and maybe a pick or two to kind of fill some voids. Because if we can trade Jake DeBrusk in a package for a proper second line center, or like a top 4 defenseman, I say you got to do it. It would be for the betterment of the franchise. Because Bergeron's going to be going year by year with his contracts. He's getting older. I think he's still got a few good years left in him. But the way he plays and the way he sells his heart and soul, you know, his body's probably going to start deteriorating soon. Marchand's not getting any younger. You know, Pastrnak, we're a pretty bright future with him. So, if you believe this team can make these trades without Jake DeBrusk, I'm fine with keeping him and then losing for nothing if you want to go on a cup run. But if you want to be realistic, you have to give something up to gain something. I believe we could easily replace Jake DeBrusk production with even like a second liner from any other team. What do you guys think? Am I off base? Am I a little crazy? Like I said, I greatly appreciate it if you could like, comment down below. Greatly help us in the algorithm. So for Captain Paul, I'm done talking my shit, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.